Hey, what's going on, peeps? So I wanted to bring you a quick update as we continue to build out and share some content with you here on this YouTube channel. I've actually sold almost all my cameras yet again. And yes, that includes the Sony RX100 Mark V-A, which I thought I would never sell, by the way. Love that camera, love the build quality. It's got a place near and dear to my heart. I actually, when I sold it to KEH or one of the places, I forgot to send in the box. So I actually had the box and I just threw it away like a couple days ago, which means I've upgraded to another camera. And then in the middle of that, I thought, okay, it's been about 3-4 years. Lots of LinkedIn videos, probably 300 or so. I think I'm about 100 videos on YouTube. But reality is, like, I want to really share all the stuff that I've learned, share the journey of going from where I started to where I'm at now. I really want to bring you guys behind the scenes and bring you along for what's going on. That's the story. That's where we're going. But I wanted to share with you because I know a lot of you are interested in the camera systems. I want to tell you one quick thing. This won't be a detailed review, but we can talk about it more if you're interested. Let me know in the comments. Just give me a heads up. But I sold my Sony RX100 Mark V-A for two main reasons, and I bought something else that I did own at one point and thought I didn't need, and that is the Sony ZV-1. Yeah, you heard it, folks. I sold the RX100 Mark V-A, which I loved, by the way, and I got the ZV-1, and there's two main reasons why. The first one I'm going to tell you about is this big fuzzy thing on the top of this camera right here. You see this? This is a dead cat, obviously, but it's included with the camera, but it's the 3-capsule built-in microphone. This whole thing right here, I don't know if you can see that well. That whole thing is a windscreen of sorts. Metal windscreen of sorts, and this is a 3-capsule directional microphone that Sony actually nailed. When they built this camera for vloggers and people that are making YouTube videos and such, people that prefer video over photography in their camera, they crushed it. Not only did they build the 3-capsule mic so that the onboard audio for this camera is so good, it's so good that you don't really need an external microphone on this camera. In my mind, like, it defeats the purpose from a sizing standpoint. Why not carry a heavier camera? Unless you're gonna do like wireless mics that are like hooked on. But it also comes with this dead cat that's built into the hot shoe there that you can just slide on and off. So that big fuzzy dead cat, they crushed it. But audio has become so important. I noticed going back through some of my old videos, and as I was building out with the RX100, I always preferred to go to my bigger camera, this main camera, which is actually a new camera too, we'll talk about later. Sold my Sony a6500, just made the upgrade. Again, always buy used. That's my philosophy. Doesn't mean you got to do it, but I even bought this camera used. So this thing's like $700-800 bucks. I got it for like $525 or $550 in like new condition. But most of the time in good lighting, I don't even really need my big camera. I just need this. And this thing always fits in my pocket, so it can always stay with me. Right? Just drop it in or put it on a vest, throw it in there. So super, super helpful. So that's the first thing. I noticed that the audio on the Sony RX100, even when the screen flipped up, and even though I preferred the flipped up screen, it was a little tinny. It was a little thin because it was just a couple little onboard audio mics. It wasn't a 3-capsule microphone. And I don't know that the camera was ever developed really for that type of audio, but nonetheless, we got by with it. I was like, you know, audio kind of drives me crazy. The more I get into video, your audio quality's got to be good. So Sony nailed it. Good job, Sony, on this. The second thing I would say on this camera is the digital image stabilization. So it's got whatever it's called, stable shot, or I can't even remember it anymore. I'm not a techie when it comes to that stuff a lot. But what I'll tell you is that even though the Sony RX100 Mark V-A was great, the image stabilization was not great. And it's still not amazing on this camera, but it get a lot further with the digital image stabilization that's built into this latest sensor. So that was super important because as you're running and gunning, you know, one hand and you're like, hey, and you're moving around, you don't want the shaky images, right? You want it to be pretty standard, pretty constant. You want to make sure everything is just moving and coming along for the ride rather than feeling like the camera's bouncing around. You want people to get immersed in the story, immersed in what you're sharing with them versus thinking about the camera instability and the audio quality. So that is why I made the switch to this camera. That's really the two main reasons for that. Why am I telling you? The reason being is I know most of you who have followed along on the channel are interested in the camera equipment that's being used, why certain people are using certain cameras. Those are the two reasons for me. So I would officially say at this point that, again, Sony's made some great cameras, especially in the pocket realm. Can't wait for someone to come out with a APS-C sensor pocketable camera that locks on focus. That's actually point number 3 that I forgot to mention. The eye autofocus on this versus anything else out there that's this size is just unbeatable. Canon came out with the G7X Mark III. If that camera could get it right, like for real get it right on eye stabilization and like locking in the way Sony's algorithm does, they probably would take a bigger part of the market, if I'm being honest. But what Sony did is they fixed that color science. Sony took this camera in the newer version of this camera, which is the Sony ZV-1, and they actually tweaked the color science a lot compared to what they had previously. So when you get those really weird, muddy, greenish skin tones, or like if you really try to adjust auto white balance internally, or you get like magenta skin tones, I'm shooting standard profile on this now. I'm just basically going to 1/50th of a second for the 180-degree shutter rule. So I shoot 24 frames per second, still only shooting 1080, even though it's capable of 4K. Maybe I'll switch that in the future, but right now I'm doing that, and I'm finding that this thing is, it's baller. Like I never really need more than this until I get into low light, and then I pull out the big boy right here, the big brother, and it's pretty obvious that the quality is different. We'll talk about this camera here on another episode, but I wanted to say, hey folks, officially I have made the switch from RX100 Mark 5A, sold it. It hurt a little bit, but then when I got this and started running with it, I feel like it's a worthy upgrade. So if you're thinking about the ZV-1, I would say that I still haven't found a better pocket camera than these little Sonys, and the ZV-1 has outdone the RX100 at this point. So it would be money well spent if that's the way you're gonna go. You've got questions, you've got comments, you've got thoughts, hit me up below or on LinkedIn, on my socials, on the DMs. But super excited to build here with you guys, and let me know how what else you want from me, how else I can help, and I'm going to bring you along for the ride. I'm going to share some more camera equipment, I'm going to take you on some travel videos, going to start vlogging a little bit more, but I really want to open up this channel so that we can build some more relationships here and build a community around the things that we like and that we think about often. So thanks for being here, everybody. Stay tuned, and until next time, remember, you're amazing. And for you wonderful people who stuck around, I'm going to give you one more little tiny recommendation or tidbit piece of advice on equipment. I just purchased this from Amazon. The brand is called whatever, BM, Be Unique, Be Myself, Unique Fashion Style. Have no idea about this logo, this brand. There's no affiliation there. But what I've noticed, they've got multiple colors, is that as I've traveled, and now I've got 2 cameras I'm running with, I've got my MacBook Pro that I'm running with, and of course I've got a tiny little phone because I have the iPhone 12 mini right here. This is the camera, the phone of choice that I use. Batteries of utmost importance. So go take a look at this. You clip it, open it up, and basically, if you don't drop it, you've got all your stuff placed in here pretty well. It's just well organized. And then I can just pull out one thing instead of everything coming out with it in a big, like a big spider web or whatever you want to call it. But it's super thin, even though it's not that big, right? It's not huge, but it's got a lot of power. I mean, this will power my MacBook, power both my cameras. It'll wirelessly charge the Anchor charger I have in there to the phone. It'll charge up cameras. It's got extra batteries, extra memory cards, and then literally it just drops right in my my beautiful backpack right here, leather backpack that I've got here. So there it is, peeps. Thanks for sticking around. So we'll talk next time. Peace.